At the end of World War II, Martin Bormann, deputy Führer and head of the Nazi Party, and Hermann Schmitz, chief executive of IG Farben, hatched a plan for the continuance of Nazi goals not to be limited by territorial and national boundaries. Bormann, anticipating the destruction of the Third Reich, worked out the logistics for the escape from Germany of an estimated 10,000 prominent Nazis, using huge caches of Nazi loot as funding. These were reported to consist of in excess of 95 tons of gold, tons of other precious metals and jewels, and billions of dollars in currency, both real and counterfeit. That's from Mind Control and UFOs. Casebook on Alternative 3. Very good book. By Jim Keith. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I remember very well when President Bush floated the idea of privatizing one's retirement via 401k plans and investment in the stock market. And I remember very clearly there being a huge outcry amongst the people in this country at the proposition. And in this week's presidential address to the nation, President Obama outlined plans to enable people to more easily invest into retirement accounts. In other words, IRAs and 401ks and all of those other good things. Now, it seems to me that what we're dealing with here is a more stealthy approach than what President Bush brought forward. And that is that he is trying to lay off the government's responsibility to all of the millions of people who have paid into Social Security for years. A very successful, good program that is designed to help people have a retirement. And Social Security, something that I've paid into for 25 years, something that other people have paid into all of their lives, looking forward to it as a reliable and steady form of retirement income. Instead, what we're seeing is a new, stealthy way to take the responsibility away from government because you have given all of this money to them through your years of work. Take that responsibility out of the hands of government and put it back into your hands. In effect, saying that you are now going to be in charge of your own personal retirement. The government is not going to do anything for you. And this, I guarantee you, is the path this is leading towards. I am not against personal responsibility. Everybody should be responsible for what they do. You should have responsibility for your own life and for taking care of yourself in your later years. However, what I have a problem with is the total abrogation of responsibility on the part of the government whenever they have had a mandatory program in place for 60 years, 70 years, however long it's been, which has had Social Security as a safety net, as a retirement plan for people in this country, and to then go about a stealthy way of trying to tell you that you have no right to everything that you've put into this system, because that is where it is going. He is attempting the same exact thing, only much more stealthy than President Bush did. He's going to make it seem like there is no government guarantee, there is no government right to give back to you everything that you put into this system. Because the government will not take the steps that are necessary in order to secure Social Security and make sure that it remains a consistent security system for people in this country. Which is exactly what needs to happen. This is the same problem that is befalling Medicare. The government refuses to honor its obligations to people in this country once again. And who are the people that are going to benefit in this grand scheme of making people have better options for investing their retirement income? 401ks, IRAs. Could it be the fucking banks yet again? And Wall Street? Need I remind anybody the billions of dollars that were lost in 401ks and pension plans over the last several years in this economic destruction? And yet, he wants to make it easier for you to give your money to banks so they can hold it for you, for your retirement. Isn't it wonderful? So yes, by all means, make it more easy for us to invest our money with leeches and parasites who will take that money and destroy any hope you have for a future. By all means, Mr. Obama, and do it in a much more stealthy manner than your predecessor did. And tell us how we have no right to anything we've paid into for decades. And by all means, do the same thing for Medicare. And tell everybody in this country who has worked and toiled their entire lives to pay into this system that you have no right to get anything out of it. But I'll make it easy for you. I'll give you a lot more options to give your money to the fucking parasites on Wall Street. And then, when your entire fucking savings is destroyed in another economic crash that's brought on by these same fuckers, then what are you going to do? You got no safety net. So, mark my words today. The radio address that President Obama gave today is just the beginning of an assault on Social Security, just like he is attempting to gut Medicare. These are things we've paid into. We have every right to draw on them. And the government has the responsibility to make sure these systems continue to function in the future so that everybody who has paid into them enjoys the benefits of a secure retirement and a secure income from these sources. And do not let this slide. I do not want to put my money into a 401k plan so Wall Street can siphon the fucking money off and all of my investments can be lost because they want to play their financial fucking games with my money. So tell them you're not going to put up with this stealthy new approach, the attack on Social Security. Another way of telling the elderly, you have nothing. And we're going to give you nothing. So screw everybody. Once again, Obama, the master of it all, does it in a very subtle way. Puts it out there just a little bit. So now you're going to see the assault happen full force. Thank you. Good night.